Hey, warriors. So, we all know that something strange, we'll say, is happening with time. We've got people everywhere saying the same thing. Days feel shorter, uh, weeks are just disappearing. Memories from years ago are suddenly surfacing like they happened yesterday. Moments in the present, they can almost feel, or I don't know, like stretched or almost like suspended, I guess. I don't know. I know one thing, it's not just stress or our imagination. I believe our collective perception of time is shifting, right? Okay. So, you know, the thing is, though, is that we were taught to think of time as a straight line. Like the past is behind us, the present is where we stand, future somewhere ahead, right? Okay, but most physicists and consciousness researchers suggest something very different, and that's that time may not actually be linear, right? It's more like a field. Okay. um and I Most of us, including myself, I know that it's not linear. I know it's like more like a field. Um, Kind of like a landscape where multiple moments exist simultaneously, right? Okay. So, and our consciousness is what's moving through it. Okay, so think of it like I guess radio stations. All the stations are broadcasting, at the same time, but you only hear the one your receiver is tuned into. Your awareness being like the tuner, right? Something like that. Anyways, right now, um, many people are reporting something that I think is just fascinating, the sense that different stations of time, how do I want to put this? The sense that different stations of time are overlapping, right? Past emotions are resurfacing, future, possibilities, they're becoming really clear. Um, I don't know, old patterns are collapsing faster than they used to. This is what people are calling timeline convergence, right? It's where I also believe a lot of these Mandela effects are coming from. Okay. Timeline convergence happens when multiple potential paths begin collapsing into a more coherent trajectory. Okay. So, in simple terms, honestly, the field of possibility narrows, I guess. You know, in humanity, it begins choosing more consciously with which direction, it moves, if you will. And when this happens, this can feel, I don't know, like compressed maybe. Because the distance between cause and effect, it starts shrinking, right? What once took like years to manifest, now happens in months, sometimes even days. There are a few um signs, I guess, people notice when this shift is happening, I guess, in their own personal like lives. Do you know what I mean? Number one is time distortion. And we've all been feeling this, or experiencing this, where days are feeling like hours, but sometimes a single moment feels incredibly dense or like meaningful. It's been pretty weird, right? I mean, honestly. Um, Also, old memories surfacing is one really big one. And it's not random either. Do you know what I mean? It's almost like those memories are asking to be resolved, right? Um at least I guess that's kind of what it seems like to me. Um because unresolved emotional patterns are one of the main things that I guess like anchor us to old timelines, right? I don't know. Anyway, also there is, I don't know how I want to put this one, but it's kind of like accelerated consequences. Like choices are showing results much faster now, right? Like and both positive and negative. It's like that feedback loop is like tightening. You know what I mean? I don't know. So, I mean, but the thing is we have to know how to, I don't know, navigate this, I guess. Do you know what I mean? And I'm going to say that the key to navigating this is coherence. I don't know. I think it comes down to that. When time compresses, emotional chaos becomes harder to carry, but clarity becomes incredibly powerful, right? And I just think that means learning to slow down your internal state, I guess. And even if, you know what I mean, slowing down that internal state, even if the external world feels like it's speeding up. Do you know what I mean? Because, we need to be breathing deeper, becoming more intentional with our choices. And because the thing is if time is becoming less linear, and I happen to know that it is like that. Your awareness is going to your awareness matters now more than ever. Do you know what I mean? Your focus has to become your steering wheel. Do you know what I mean? I it has to. Your emotional state, it becomes like a signal to that field. That, I mean, does it, I guess if I'm explaining this right, I don't know. Like, because the timeline you experience, it like begins responding. It starts responding like more directly, like to who you are being, right? I don't know. In many ways, I don't know. First of all, this doesn't mean the future is fixed, right? But it does mean, I don't know. In many ways, maybe it even means the opposite, right? I don't know, because if the future becomes more fluid like that, more responsive, more. participatory. Now I'm just babbling. I'm getting out of my own thoughts. But that also means that, responsibility increases, right? I mean, because the clearer you become internally, the more clear reality begins to mirror your ass, right? I mean, and I don't know. So if you're one of the people that, feels time feels strangely to lately, if things feel faster, I guess, and if, and if your past is surfacing, it's, and it, and it's not just your past resurfacing, it's almost like your intuition ab- about the future is getting stronger at the same time. I don't know, dude. Like I said, now I'm just getting off track here, I think, a little bit. Um, but I don't think that anybody's imagining it. You know what I mean? But you, if you're feeling this, you may just be, I don't know, feeling the edges, I guess, of the collective shift, in how consciousness moves through time itself. I think that's what we're all feeling, anyways. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm going to go ahead and say that I know that that's what it is. You know, I don't know. I think the most important thing that we can do right now is become very intentional about the signal we are sending into that field. I don't know. Like I said, I'm rambling now. I love you.